Hello students, we are going to start chapter 8 from your Beehive textbook. Now students, we have finished up to chapter 7, that is unit 7. We are going to begin the unit 8 and that is part 1, Santosh Yadav. I just sent it to you already, the meanings as well as give one word for and idioms and phrases. Just I have sent you the images through WhatsApp. I hope you have written them in your fair book. Now, let's begin the chapter 8. Reach for the top, part 1, Santosh Yadav. Now, as we begin this lesson, I want you all to pay attention. Think for a while and make a list of 3 to 5 persons you idolize or admire very much for their achievements. Your idols may be from any sphere of life, sports, medicine, media, or art and culture. So students, it is for you to close your eyes or take a pause and see which are the people in your life who are these people you admire. You idolize them, you like to imitate them for their achievements, and they can be from the different field. They can be from the any spheres of life. Can be from the people from the sports, like if you are a cricket lover, you can think of Sachin Tendulkar or Mahendra Singh Dhoni, suppose. Or if you are a basketball lover or football player, you can talk of Michael Jordan or Ronaldo. There can be different people from media, from art, culture, from science and technology. Okay? You also know that APJ Abdul Kalam, who was a former president, and so on. Your teacher will then discuss your choices with you to find out who the top 5 idols of your class are. So right now you are not with us, but of course students, whenever we come, we will discuss, we will find out about your interests and the people whom you love or admire in your life. Here we begin. The only woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing, and a daughter, though not considered a curse, was not generally welcome. So we're talking about there's the only woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice, and she was born in the society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing. Now students, when we talk about the Indian society earlier, not now, and not in every culture, but there were some people in their culture, the boys were considered as a good omen, whereas a girl, they were not very happy to welcome her into this world. Okay, and so though it wasn't a curse, but she wasn't generally welcome as much as with what enthusiasm and joy the boy was welcome. When her mother was expecting Santosh, a traveling holy man, giving her his blessing, assumed that she wanted a son. So there was a holy man who was traveling. As he met Santosh's mother, when Santosh was getting formed in her mother's womb, and that time this holy man, he thought that the mother would like to welcome a baby boy, a son in their family. But to everyone's surprise, the unborn child's grandmother, who was standing close by, told him that they did not want a son. So when the grandmother of Santosh, who was to be born, okay, was standing close by, and she says that we do not want a son. We would rather welcome a daughter. And so the holy man was also surprised. He was also surprised, saying that, how is that in this Indian society or in the society where usually a boy is welcome? In this society, how is this grandmother is ready to welcome a baby girl? Nevertheless, he gave the requested blessing, and as destiny would have it, the blessing seemed to work. So he surely did give his blessing, as he was requested to bless the pregnant woman. And so the blessing seemed to work. What was the blessing? Blessing was for the baby girl and not was for the baby boy. Santosh was born the sixth child in a family with 5 sons. So Santosh had 5 brothers and she was a sixth child. She wasn't the first born child. She was a sixth child in her family and she had 5 brothers already who were elder to her. A sister to 5 brothers. A sister to 5 brothers. She was born in the small village of Joniawas of Rewari district in Haryana. So where was Santosh born? She was born in Haryana, the district which was in the village in Rewari. Okay? Rewari district in Haryana, in the village of Joniawas. The girl was given the name Santosh, which means contentment. So what was the name of the girl? The girl was given the name Santosh, and Santosh, which identified as contentment, satisfaction. But Santosh was not always content with her place in the traditional way of life. Though her name was contentment, Santosh, she wasn't content with her place in a traditional way of life, because the people in a place lived the traditional life which she wasn't very happy with. And so she began living life on her own terms from the start. Where other girls wore traditional Indian dresses, Santosh preferred shorts. So you see, she did not like the traditional way of living where the other girls were wearing the traditional clothes. Santosh preferred shorts. Looking back, she says now, from the very beginning, I was quite determined that if I chose a correct and a rational path, the others around me had to change, not me. So she was very clear what she would say. Right from the beginning, she was quite determined. She made a choice and she said, if I choose a correct and a rational path, it's not me who has to change, but those who are around me, they need to change and not me. They need to change their way of looking and thinking. I would like to have the way I am living and the way I am enjoying. That was the way of Santosh saying, and that is what she wanted to be. Then students, over here, the third paragraph. Santosh's parents were affluent landowners who could afford to send their children to the best schools, even to the country's capital, New Delhi, which was quite close by. So what happened? Santosh's parents, how they were affluent. What is the meaning of affluent? They were rich, they were well-to-do family, and they could afford sending their children in a very good, the best schools, even to the country's capital. Which is a country's capital? Delhi, New Delhi. They were able to send, but in line with the prevailing custom in the family, Santosh had to make do with the local village school. What is the meaning of students? In line with, it's given over here, following or in accordance with, according to. So what happens? But in line with, according to the prevailing customs, the customs which, the rituals which were prevailing in the society. So Santosh had to do is that Santosh had to, as per the family customs, Santosh had to make do with the local village school. She had to go to the local schools. So she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way when the right moment arrived. So she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way. She said, when the right moment comes, I'll fight for my own rights. And the right moment came when she turned 16. At 16, most of the girls in her village used to get married. Santosh was also under pressure from her parents to do the same. So what happened? That right moment arrived when she turned 16. And at 16, most of the girls in her village used to get married. And so Santosh was under pressure from her parents to do she was also thinking her parents will now going to make her also get married at the age of 16. But she had prepared herself. A marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. So a last thing, the least important thing in her mind, she wanted to give more focus on her education and on what she wanted in her life, her achievements. So a marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. She threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get a proper education. She threatened her parents that she would never get married unless and until she gets a proper education. She left home and got herself enrolled in a school in Delhi. So she left home and got herself enrolled in the school in Delhi. Okay. When her parents refused to pay for her education, she politely informed them of her plans to earn money by working part-time to pay her school fees. Her parents then agreed to pay for her education. So what happened when she wanted to enroll herself in Delhi, and which she did when the right time came, she did that. She fought for her own rights. But what the parents are saying? The parents refused to pay her fees. So what does this girl say? She says, even though you don't pay, I will pay, I will do the part-time job, and I will pay my fees. To which parents agreed to pay for her education. Parents would not want a daughter to do the part-time job. Wishing always to study a bit more, and with her father slowly getting used to her urge for more education, Santosh passed the high school examinations and went to Jaipur. So students, as she had got the permission, she was already in Delhi. She, according to her desire, her wish, she was getting more education, and she passed her high school examinations and went to Jaipur. She joined Maharani College and got a room in Kasturba hostel. So from Delhi she went to Jaipur, and there also she joined a Maharani College, and she found herself a room in the Kasturba hostel, because she was staying in the hostel at that time. Santosh remembers Kasturba hostel faced the Arauli hills. So where now Jaipur, obviously Jaipur, when we talk about Jaipur, Arauli hills. So from her hostel room, she could see the room was facing the Arauli hills. I used to watch villagers from my room going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. So she used to see the villagers climbing up the mountains, okay, going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. One day I decided to check it out myself. I found nobody except a few mountaineers. I asked if I could join them. To my pleasant surprise, they answered in the affirmative and motivated me to take to climbing. So what is it? Check it out, to find out whether she could go there. Check it out to find out whether what she found out. One day I decided to check it out myself, to go there and to see what is happening there. And to her surprise, she found nobody except few mountaineers, those who were climbing the mountains, those who were expediting the mountains, those who are taking under the expedition of the climbing of the mountains. I asked if I could join them. She asked if she could join them, and to her pleasant surprise, she was given the permission, the affirmative answer, the positive answer. Yes, she could do that. Okay, motivated her to take to climbing. Then there was no looking back for this determined young girl. Once she was given the positive, the affirmative answer, and she was being motivated, she did not want to look back. She did not want to look back, and she was determined to climb the mountain. There was no looking back. She saved money and enrolled in a course at Uttarkashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. So she enrolled, her name where, underline that, at Uttarkashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. My college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May. So it was delayed, and I was supposed to be in Uttarkashi on the 21st. So I did not go back home. Instead, I headed straight for the training. So she did not go for her vacation. If she had finished her exam on time in April, then she would have got time to go and visit her family. But since it was delayed and it got over only on 19th of May, there were only 2 days which she had to begin. She had to be in Uttarkashi for her training, and so she headed straight away. She went towards where she went for the training. I had to write a letter of apology to my father, without whose permission I had got myself enrolled at Uttarkashi. So to go to Uttarkashi for the mountaineering, she had not taken her father's permission, and therefore she says that she had to write an apology letter because she was doing it without permission. So students, up to paragraph number 6 we have studied today, from the time when the Santosh was in the womb of her mother, how the blessing of the holy man comes true, and the girl Santosh is born. Santosh fights for her own rights and the right to educate. She did not want to get married at the young age, and so therefore she enrolls herself in Delhi and then thereafter to Jaipur. When she is staying in the hostel Kastuba, she can see the Arauli hills, people climbing up. She decides to go over there and she enrolls her name for Uttarkashi Nehru Institute for mountaineering. After the exam, she is going there. Before that, she just want to write an apology letter. Till here we have seen. We are going to stop here. Tomorrow we shall see the next part of this chapter. Okay? Have a good day, students.